I'm reading from Jung's Red Book for Our Time, Searching for Soul under Postmodern Conditions. In this video, I'm going to read the conclusion to Dr. Nancy Furlotti's A Voice of Hope for Our Precarious World. Conclusion. Jung discovered an antidote to loss of soul, not an easy remedy, but one that results in the transformation of the personality, the coming home to the soul of one's being. Here one experiences solid ground, rather than the illusionary quicksand that is the terra on which our fragmented and fearful postmodern culture rests. He experienced his own multiplicity within and shaped it into a unity, which he called the self. This process of healing is individual, yet affects the greater collective whole as well. With each person's increased consciousness, the larger culture changes, reflecting the alchemical dictum that the microcosm is identical with the macrocosm. In Jung's early vision, as cited in the beginning of this paper, out of the frozen land he is given the gift of a, quote, leaf-bearing tree but without fruit, my tree of life, I thought, whose leaves have been transformed by the effects of the frost into sweet grapes full of healing juices. I plucked the grapes and gave them to a large waiting crowd, unquote. His life task, his myth, was presented to him through this vision. It pointed to not only him personally, but also to his relationship to the collective. Grapes signify both fertility and sacrifice and are related to the Greek god Dionysus, who facilitates the remembering of one's inner nature, one's soul. Dionysus was a dismembered, sacrifice to God. To unleash the inner creative forces of our life, sacrifice is always required of us. From the frozen land where nothing grows and all is stagnant, the tree of life emerges in his early dream and later vision where he is transformed. Out of depression emerges new life. Jung's vision was a foreshadowing of what was to become of Europe, but it also pointed to his own need to break through the frozen soulless aspects of himself and descend into the center of his being, to understand and assimilate his own shadow contents in the unconscious. While he was a pioneer in exploring his inner cosmos, his example is a gift of sweet grapes for the larger cosmos. Through his journey inward, Jung realized that his process mirrored the template for what he later called individuation, or the natural course of human development. He reminds us, if you look into yourselves, you will see the world of the inner is as infinite as the world of the outer. He challenges each one of us to embark on our own unique journey to find ourselves. My dream of the Buddhist mandala, located in the real world, and the wish for the unification of the essence of all religions into our hearts and souls, reflect the continuing need for each one of us to take up the arduous but vital task of bringing to birth the new symbols that may unify us rather than destroy us, along with our earth and its other inhabitants, the animals and plants. We are running out of time as our world increasingly suffers from climate change, overpopulation, and the unleashing of a torrent of intolerance, fear, and aggression, a reflection of our increasing inner chaos. Jung's Red Book was written years ago, yet published at the dawn of the postmodern chaos. This was no accident. He left his map of the unconscious for us to use to navigate the inner world of the psyche, which is where the outer world is fundamentally conceived. This vital fact is forgotten in our one-sided logos and science-based culture, as well as in its opposite, feeling sensation-based fundamentalism. No doubt the snakes and birds will lead the stream of demons across our paths until we remember put our technological devices aside and descend into our own heaven and hell to find our own new myth of wholeness in between.